All right, guys, welcome back. Today we're going through the entire UFC Fight Night card. Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. From the early prelims all the way to the main event, I'm going to be breaking down each matchup, what to watch for, and who I think gets it done. So let's end the year off strong with the last UFC event for 2025. Kicking off the prelims, we have Jamie Lynn Horth versus Teresa Bleda. Jamie Lynn Horth, she's her last 5 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. She's just going back and forth, win, loss, win, loss, win. And the people she's beating are not great. Like Haley Cowan, she's on a 2 fight losing streak. Ivana Petrovic, she's also on a 2 fight losing streak. And Vanessa Demopoulos is on a 3 fight losing streak. And I just don't think Jamie Lynn Horth is that great. She's 35 years in age. Uh, and I just don't think she's the best fighter. And if we look at Cesaro Bleda, 7-1, and her only loss coming to Natalia Silva, who is going to be is in the title contention right now. She is on like a 2-year layoff, which is the main thing that concerns me. But I don't think it'll play that big of a difference. She likes to mix in her takedowns, although she doesn't have the best takedown accuracy. She went 3 for 10 against Gabriel Fernandez, who has great jiu-jitsu, but she had 11 minutes of control time in that fight. Then in the fight against Natalia Silva, she had 5 minutes of control time, but went 1 for 7 on takedowns and had 2 submission attempts. And on the Contender Series, she had like 11 minutes of control time. I do think Zara is going to win this matchup, and it's just the 2-year layoff. She has not fought since June 17th, 2023, which is I don't think is the best look, but I do think she should be able to get the win over Jamie Lynn Horth. I don't think it'd be that much of a struggle. So in this matchup, give me Cesaro Bleda. I'm gonna say either by I'm leaning decision, but I don't think a submission is out of this world either. So give me Teresa Bleda by submission or decision against Jamie Lynn Horth. And next up, this is nowhere near a UFC level fight. We have Alan Fry versus Gomir Pat, and this is like a Contender Series fight, like at best. Like this is a regional fight. This just shows how desperate UFC is for the heavyweight division. Alan Fry, I think he played college basketball. Like he's athletic. I just I don't know how to judge out these guys. These guys are beating like absolute nobodies. The best win between these two guys is Justin Frazier, who was on the Ultimate Fighter, and Alan Fry knocked him out in the first round. But that Frazier guy was coming off a 6-year layoff, and these guys are just beating like cans. Like it's hard to even judge how good these guys are. Like both undefeated. Um, yeah, I don't even know. I'm gonna go with no, Gomir Pat. He does have like a karate base, which is kind of weird to see at the light heavyweight division. But this guy's like sometimes he has no sense of urgency like at all. Like if we hold him against the fence, he's just gonna sit there and relax. But I don't know. This one's I would stay away from this fight if you are gonna do any betting or anything. Like these guys are bottom of the food chain. It's hard to get a read off who's actually has UFC potential based on their last fights. But I think this one will end early. Probably a knockout, maybe by Gumio Pat or Alan Fry. Alan Fry has 6 knockouts, but I'm just gonna go with Gomir Pat. I don't really have an explanation or great reasoning. He was supposed to be in the Contender Series this year, actually. So yeah, I'm gonna go Gomir Pat, but this fight is you might want to stay away from it because who knows who's even good in this matchup. But anyways, give me Gomir Pat by knockout. And in the next fight, we have Melissa Croden taking on Luana Santos. This is Melissa Croden's second fight in the UFC. In the first fight, she was able to get a round 3 knockout over Tainara Lisboa. Lisboa was able to get 2 takedowns in and get some control time on Croden. And Luana Santos is 4-1 in the UFC. Her only fight she lost was against Casey O'Neill. and she has great grappling, great judo, great jiu-jitsu. She has 5 submission wins, and I just think she's fighting a lot higher competition in the UFC with the UFC experience. She's 25 years old, still young, still improving, and Melissa Croden is 34 years old, which coming into the UFC at 34, I don't think is the best look. Santos is coming off a round 2 submission win over Tainara Lisboa, where she pretty much dominated that fight. Lisboa only had 7 total strikes, and Santos got 2 takedowns in 8 minutes of control time. And I just think if Lisboa is getting Croden down, I think Santos is going to be able to get the takedowns too. And I think she's going to rack up control time, maybe some ground and pound, and I think she is going to threaten the submission. Melissa Croden is violent. Like she has 6 knockout wins and a submission win, all 7 fights being by finish. Her one loss, or no, one of her losses come to Jacqueline Cavalcante, who is on a tear in the UFC right now. I think she's on like a 5 or 6 fight win streak in the UFC, so that is not a bad loss, honestly. But I still think Luana Santos gets done. I'm gonna say by decision. It's a woman's fight, but I mean she could definitely threaten the submission in this matchup. So, but anyways, give me Luana Santos in this matchup by decision. I'm gonna lean. And next up, we go to the heavyweight division, where Sean Sharaf is taking on Stephen Asplund. Stephen Asplund is coming off the Contender Series with a 16-second knockout. He's on a 3-fight knockout streak. And his loss coming to Denzel Freeman, who actually just got his first UFC win a couple weeks ago. I think it was at UFC Qatar. And Asplund, this guy, he looks like a melting candle, kind of. Like this guy, he used to be like 500 pounds and he lost like a ton of weight. I'm pretty sure his dad was a MMA fighter, but I don't think he really made it to a high level. And this guy's grappling is not the greatest. This guy's big. He's like 6'5", 260 pounds. Like this guy's a real heavyweight. Carries a ton of power with 5 knockout wins. And I do think he's gonna lose later on in the UFC. Sean Sharaf, I do not think this is a guy to beat him. Sean Sharaf has just had his UFC debut last year in October against Junior Tafa, I think it was. Let me see here. Yeah, Junior Tafa, and Junior like Sean Sharaf gassed out in like the first round. He was just going for takedowns. He went 1 for 8 on takedowns against Junior Tafa, the guy who was like no grappling, and was only able to get 45 seconds of control time. So I do not think this guy's grappling is a threat, but I do think Sean Sharaf does get knocked out here. I honestly think in like the first round. I do not think Asplund is going to make it super far in the heavyweight division. Like if he faces like a Cortez Waldo or someone in the heavyweight division, I think is going to be able to crack him. This guy's kind of reckless, but Sean Sharaf is definitely not the guy to do it. So in this matchup, I am going to go for Stephen Asplund to win by knockout, and I honestly think it's going to happen in the first round. This guy carries a ton of power. So give me Stephen Asplund by round 1 knockout. And next up, we have Neil Magny versus Yaroslav Amosov. And Amosov is coming from Bellator, where he had a record of 27 wins and 1 loss. This guy's a crazy record. He has 9 knockouts and 11 submissions. And I'm pretty sure this guy was in the military for Ukraine. Yeah, he paused his career in 2022 to join the Ukrainian military to help defend against the Russian invasion. This guy's tough. He has a great like a great anaconda choke. He's good at snatching like front chokes against people during scrambles. I like his wrestling. He's a pretty good striker. He's coming out of American Top Team, so he has a great team. This guy's 32 years old, just entering his prime. And we have Neil Magny, who is on a 2-fight win streak. He beat Zaleski Dos Santos by knockout, ground and pound. And he had a controversial win over Jake Matthews, where in the first round, Jake Matthews had a mounted guillotine in like the last 10 seconds. And the ref stopped it at like the last second, I think, because he thought Neil Magny went out. And Jake Matthews thought he won. But the fight resumed, and then Neil Magny got his own submission in the 3rd round. That one was a little weird, but, I think Amosov is gonna be able to get the finish over Neil Magny. This is actually a good matchup to see if Amosov is actually UFC level. Neil Magny is like he's what's it called? Like, he's the guy to tell if you're actually, like, UFC level. Like, he's beaten a lot of prospects, a lot of prospects beaten him. So I do think this is a good matchup, but I do think Amosov is gonna be able to get I think he's gonna be able to get submission over Neil Magny. Neil Magny has been submitted, like, 6 times. So and I think if he mixes in his wrestling, during a scramble, he could catch Neil Magny's neck. So that's what I think is gonna happen in this matchup. So give me Almasov to win this fight by submission, and I think it could be like something like a Darce choke, maybe a guillotine, or like anaconda choke. So give me Almasov by submission. And in the next fight, we have Joe Anderson Brito taking on Isaac Thompson, who just took this fight not too long ago. It was supposed to be Melsik Beg Desharian, but he pulled out. I'm not sure why. I didn't really look into it. Isaac Thompson, 9-2. Um, coming out of no, not PFL, LFA, where he was on a 3-fight win streak, and he's not fighting terrible competition. Like, obviously it's a regional scene, but like it could be much worse. Um, he has heavy calf kicks. He's a smart striker, and he can mix in the takedowns, but he can also get taken down himself. And Joe Anderson Brito, on the other hand, 17-5, fighting out of Shooty Box. That's a great team over there. Oh, and I forgot to mention Isaac Thompson is fighting out of Team Alpha Male, which is a great team. Anyways, Joe Anderson Brito is coming off back-to-back losses to a Pat Sabatini, and Pat Sabatini had like 14 minutes of control time in that fight. It was insane. It was a boring fight, but and then a split decision loss to William Gomez, where a lot of people thought it was a robbery, but it was a really close fight. But before that, he was on a roll. He was on like a 5-fight finish streak, and this guy beat Diego Lopez on the Contender Series. And he also knocked out Chepe Mariscal on the regional scene in 44 seconds. And Chepe Mariscal was on like a 5-fight win streak until he lost to Pat Sabatini last week. And I just think Isaac Thompson is taking this fight just to get his foot in the UFC, and I do think he gets finished in this matchup. I think Joe Anderson Brito could knock him out. I think he's going to be able to take him down. He's going to hunt for the submission. But in this matchup, give me Joe Anderson Brito by knockout or submission. In the next fight, we have Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robertson. And Amanda Lemos, 15-5. She has nine wins in the UFC, and all her losses come in the UFC. But she is fighting like the best of the best. Tatiana Suarez, Yasmin Lucindo, Jen Jaroba, Mackenzie Dern, Zhang Wei Li, Andrade, like Angela Hill. Like she's been fighting top people like her whole career almost. And great jiu-jitsu. She does have good striking as well, honestly. But she is getting up there in age. She's 38, which is kind of old. And in her last few fights, she's been back and forth, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Jillian Robertson, on the other hand, she is 16-8 with a UFC record of 13-6. She's on a 4-fight win streak, but the people she's beating, Marina Rodriguez, Luana Pinheiro, Michelle Watterson, Gomez, Poliana Viana, and then lost to Tabitha Ricci, Tabitha Ricci is a good fighter, but Jillian Robertson is beating like the mid-tier fighters. So this is a step up in competition for Jillian Robertson. She does have great takedown. Jillian Robertson does have great takedowns. She has nasty ground and pound. Like it's just a lot of pressure when she gets a takedown. And Lemos does have great jiu-jitsu as well, but I think Jillian Robertson's grappling is going to be too much for Lemos to handle. And I have seen a lot of people in Lemos in this matchup against Robertson, and I can see why. But I just think the age difference, like Robertson is, how old is she? She's 30 years old. I think she's going to look better and better as as her career goes on. I think that this is gonna be a tough matchup for Jillian Robertson, but I do think she gets it done. I'm gonna say by decision. I guess Lemos has been finished 3 times out of her 5 losses, but I don't know. This one's kinda tough to call, but I'm gonna take Jillian Robertson in this matchup against Amanda Lemos. And then we have King Green taking on Gibson Jr. And this fight, this was added like a couple days ago, I think, at the latest. King Green, um, UFC veteran. This guy has so much fights in the UFC. 11 knockout wins, 9 submission wins. He has a UFC record of 13-12. He is coming off back-to-back losses against Ruffy, where he got spinning wheel kicked, and then Paddy Pimblett choked him out in the first 3 minutes. But this guy has good stand-up. He has a little bit of grappling, and this guy has all the experience. While Lance Gibson Jr., 9-1, on a 2-fight win streak. He's fighting not good competition really at all. He got a knockout win over someone with a record of 19-42. I just don't think this guy's good. He does have good kicks. He is well-rounded, like 4 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, 2 decision wins. I just don't think he's the greatest prospect. I know his dad was like an MMA fighter. I don't think he made it too far, but I think King Green's gonna be able to piece him up on the feet. King Green is not bad on these short notice matchups, honestly. Um, but King Green's also with like 39. That is also a little bit of worry. And he is kind of chinny with 6 knockout losses, which is not the best look, honestly. But I think he should be safe against someone like a Lance Gibson Jr. Like this guy, this guy has not fought great competition. Like 15-12, 7-2, 19-42, 5-2, or his last 4 opponents' records. And yeah, I really don't rate him highly as a prospect. So I think King Green should be able to should be able to win this fight. I'm gonna pick King Green to win this fight by a decision. And then we have Kennedy and Jekachu. Definitely pronounced that wrong, but taking on Marcus Buchecha. Buchecha is a very, very high level jujitsu practitioner, whatever you I don't know how to say it, whatever. But this guy's high level in BJJ. I think he's a black belt and he definitely competes. I think he was a world champion, something. Don't quote me on that, but he does have solid grappling. He has 4 submission wins out of his 5 wins, but his takedown's not great. He's coming off a decision loss to Martin Buday in his UFC debut, and honestly, this guy he had his moments in that fight, but I think Buday just I think Buchecha started to fade a little bit, and that's when Buday started taking over the fight. And Kennedy and Jekchu, whatever you want to call it, on the other hand, I do not think this guy is that great at all. Um, he knocked out Carlos Olberg and then loses to guys like Paul Craig and Oven St. Preux like last year and got knocked out by Justin Jacoby. Jacoby is a great striker, honestly, but and then he knocks out Chris Barnett, okay, and Lucas Brzeski, okay. Though both those guys are terrible. And then he fights Walter Walker. I'm pretty sure he was a favorite in that matchup, and he gets heel hooked in the first minute. So this one is like, I don't even know, but I'm gonna go with Kennedy. I think he's gonna be able to stuff the takedowns of Marcus, and I think his striking is gonna be better. But sometimes this guy, he's the one with intent, or he's just standing in front of you, like against Oven St. Preux. Like that was literally like a staring contest, I swear. Um, I'm gonna go with Kennedy. I think he's gonna be able to stop the weak takedowns from Marcus. But if Marcus gets us down, he is definitely alive to get a finish over Kennedy. Kennedy has been submitted twice, so I'm gonna go with Kennedy here. I think he might be able to knock out Marcus Buchecha and maybe in the second or third round if Marcus starts to fade and is not able to get the takedowns. But I mean, I would not count on it. But give me Kennedy and Jekachu in this matchup against Marcus Buchecha. I'm definitely saying those last names wrong, but you get it. You get my point. And then we have I'm very excited for this matchup between Morgan Charrier and Melquizel Acosta. Morgan Charrier, 21 wins, 11 losses. He has 13 knockout wins, 3 submission wins, and 10 of his losses come by decision, with 1 by submission. He's coming off a knockout win over Nate Landwehr, and he got dominated by Nathaniel Wood. Like, he was getting knocked down, he was getting put in submission attempts. Like, Nathaniel Wood beat Morgan Charrier. I was really surprised how dominant that was. Then he goes before that, he knocked out Gabriel Miranda, but who has not knocked that guy out? And then got a split decision loss to Chepe Mariscal. This guy's a great striker. He mixes it up well with kicks, and he will go for his own takedowns. And Melquizel Acosta, this guy, he's a very well-rounded fighter. 7 knockout wins, 8 submission wins, and 9 decision wins. He has been finished 4 times, 2 by knockout and 2 by submission. Um, he has good Muay Thai and kickboxing, and I really do like his ground game. He had a he's on a 4-fight win streak, beating Shaylin Neurodambiak. Definitely said that name wrong. He won that by rear naked choke in the 3rd round, and then he submitted Andre Philly by guillotine in the 1st round, and he had a good win over Christian Rodriguez by unanimous decision. That was an entertaining fight, and beat Julian Erosa by decision. That fight was pretty good too, honestly. And I am gonna go with Melquizel Acosta here. Um, I do think um, he m I think Shoria might have the striking advantage, but I do think Marquez Costa is actually pretty good as a fighter, and I do think, if he wants to grapple with Morgan Charrier, he is going to be able to, and maybe in a scramble, he could definitely catch Morgan's neck. Melquizel Costa is fighting out a great camp at Chute Box, just like Joanna San Brito, and he's honestly been pretty active in his last couple years. This is his 4th fight in 2025. So I think this guy, he's just on his momentum's gonna push through this fight, and I do think he is improving a lot. Like, his last win comes to Steve Garcia by knockout in the 2nd round. Like, who has Steve Garcia not knocked out? That guy's on a roll too. So honestly, his wins are not terrible. So in this matchup, I am gonna go with Melquizel Costa, and I think he gets it done by submission, maybe in like a scramble. He catches Morgan in like a Darius or a guillotine, or just by decision. But give me Costa in this matchup. And next up, we have Cesar Almeida taking on Cesare Oleksiejczuk. And this is Michael Oleksiejczuk's brother. He's 16-3. He has power just like his brother. 9 knockout wins, and he has 2 submission wins and 5 decision wins, with 1 loss claimed by submission and the other 2 by decision. He's coming off a Contender Series knockout in the first 36 seconds, and I think this guy has great striking, great power, and he actually can mix in the takedowns, unlike his brother. He's not the best, but he gets the job done. And Cesar Almeida, 7-1, 5 wins by knockout, and he's coming off a beautiful knockout over Abdul Razak Al Sahan. But he was dropped in that fight, but he recovered and got the knockout of his own. And he, before that, was a decision win over Ihor Prateria. That guy's super chinny. I was expecting a knockout. And a split decision loss to Roman Kopylov, where I think Kopylov, that was a clear win for Kopylov. Kopylov was getting the takedowns, controlling Caesar. And Caesar has a great team. He trains with Alex Pereira. I'm pretty sure. More than likely, he trains with Alex Pereira. He did struggle with the grappling early in his career, but I'm assuming he's improved on it. His takedown defense against the cage is very good, but in the middle of the octagon, it is not great. And I expect this fight to be pretty close, honestly, in the standing. Like Caesar, this guy's a world-class kickboxer. He beat Alex Pereira in kickboxing. I am pretty sure. Let me see here. Yeah, he beat Alex. He lost to Alex Pereira twice and beat Alex Pereira once. This guy is a great striker, but he is 37 years old, while Oleg Jacek is a lot younger at 25. I'm gonna go with Oleg Jacek here. I do think it will be honestly a close fight in the standing, but I think the power and the just how much younger he is. I just think he's gonna be better physically, and I don't know. We could maybe see a knockout for Oleg Jacek with seeing Almeida getting dropped in his last fight. Maybe the chin's going at 37 years old too. But I think this will be a pretty close fight. But overall, give me Cesare Oleg Jacek by, I'm gonna say, knockout. But I won't be surprised if it is a decision. But I do think he will get the knockout. So give me Cesare Oleg Jacek by knockout. And this fight is going to be good. Kevin Vallejos versus Giga Chikadze. And I've seen a lot of people on Giga Chikadze. This guy's a world class. His kickboxing is elite. 37 years old, record with 15-5, 9 knockout wins, and 1 submission win, and 5 decision wins. He is he's coming off back-to-back losses to David Onama and Arnold Allen, where Arnold Allen, I think he did start off pretty strong in the first, and he just faded. And David Onama, I'm pretty sure David Onama just dominated that fight. I'm pretty sure. I don't remember it too much. Um, Giga, he has not been active like that much. I mean, a little bit. Like he fought once this year, and then in 2024 he fought. And then, this guy's fighting like once a year, pretty much. I mean, he knocked out Edson Barboza, Cub Swanson. Like this guy's a good kickboxer, but he struggles a lot in grappling when people pressure him against the fence and stuff. And Kevin Vallejos, I really think this guy is definitely a future contender in this weight class. I think this guy has a ton of potential. Honestly, 16-1. 11 knockout wins, 2 submission wins, and 3 decision wins. And this guy's only loss comes to Gene Silva. And Gene Silva, I think, is still one of the greatest right now in this division. Even with his loss against Lopez, he was dominating that first round. He was landing clean, and he got clipped with the spinning elbow. But this Kevin Vallejos holds power in his hands, nasty boxing combinations. He kind of has like a stance like Ilya, where like moving his head off the center line a lot, and he looks like a lot like Ilya in there. Obviously, that's a big comparison, but you'll know what I'm saying. And this guy can mix in the takedowns of his own. If you look back in his earlier career, he's winning by ground and pound, like submission. Like this guy, I don't think this will be a close fight against Giga. Giga's 37 years old. Kevin Vallejos is going to beat Giga Chikadze in this fight. If he wants to take Giga down, I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to take him down. Um, Kevin Vallejos, he's 2-0 in the UFC, not including his Contender Series win. He knocked out Sung Ho Choi with a nasty overhand and beat Danny Silva like 30-27, and he mixed in some takedowns there. But man, Kevin Vallejos is going to win this matchup. I've seen a lot of people on Giga online. I'm not sure what they see in this fight, but Kevin Vallejos is going to win this. I think he's gonna piece up Giga. I don't know if he'll knock him out. Maybe if he lands clean. This guy does hold power, but if he wants to mix in the takedowns, he's gonna be able to. But give me Kevin Vallejos in this matchup quite easily. I'm not really sure how he gets it done. I'm gonna lean a decision, but maybe a knockout won't surprise me if he lands something clean. But give me Kevin Vallejos in this fight against Giga Chikadze. And for our main event of the last UFC event of the year, we have Brandon Royval taking on Manel Kape. And this is a great matchup. These guys are going to fight. It's going to be entertaining for sure. Brandon Royval, 17-8. This guy has really nice jiu-jitsu off his back. He's always threatening a submission. 4 knockout wins. He has been knocked out before. 9 submission wins, and he has 1 submission loss with 4 decision wins, and he has 6 decision losses. That 1 knockout loss, I am more than likely it was an injury. Yeah, a shoulder injury against Brandon Moreno. So I don't know if really count that as a TKO, but I mean on the record it is. He's coming off a loss to Joshua Van, where that was almost like that was one of the best fights this year. I'm pretty sure it's 29-28, and Joshua Van was able to steal, I think, the second and third round, and he ended up dropping Royval in the last 10 seconds. But before that, Tetsuo Taira, that was an amazing fight too. That was back and forth, and we've seen Tetsuo Taira just be the first person to finish Brandon Moreno. Like that's a great win for Royval. And before that, he beat Brandon Moreno by a split decision too, where Moreno did not look the best this fight, but I mean, still a win. And before that, he had a title shot against Pantoja, where that was not the most entertaining fight, where Pantoja pretty much just laid on top of him for like 5 rounds. And before that, knocked out Mateus Nicolau with a brutal knee, but Nicolau is very chinny now after that. And on the other hand, Manel Kape, this guy's a great striker. He's 21-7. He has 13 knockout wins. He's coming off a knockout to Asu Amabayev, which was controversial because of the eye pokes in that fight. And before that, Bruno Silva, where he put a beating on Bruno Silva. Like the whole time, he was like in flow state. He was landing endless combinations, landing power, and just ended up knocking him out. That was a great performance there. And then a decision loss to Muhammad Makayev, which was honestly a boring fight. Like it was really hyped up and not much. There's like no action really in that fight. And before that, beat Felipe Dos Santos, where Dos Santos was undefeated at the time. That was a great fight, but Santos have shown that he's not that good of a fighter. But Manel Kape has very, very nice boxing combinations. He's fast, he's powerful, and Bren Royval, he's lengthy, he has good striking, good knees, and I think honestly his best part is his ground game and his jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty sure he's a jiu-jitsu black belt, but I mean he goes for guillotines, he goes for omoplatas off his back. His back takes are very nice. So if Brandon Royval wants to win this fight, I think he is going to have to grapple Manel Kape and takes back, threaten submissions, or just um get the control time. But if this fight is standing, I think Manel Kape is gonna be way too fast. It's gonna be like a Joshua Van fight where the smaller, faster guy's gonna be able to land combinations. He's gonna land first, and if it's standing, Manel Kape is gonna land these heavy combinations. He's gonna hurt Royval to the body, and if it's standing, I do think Manel Kape is gonna get a dominant win over Brandon Royval. I don't think Royval's grappling is going to work in this fight, but yeah. So in this matchup, give me Manal Kape by I want to say knockout, just because we've seen him get dropped, and if the fight goes later on, I think Manal Kape is just he's gonna get in his flow, he's gonna get in his rhythm, his momentum in this fight, and so give me Manal Kape in this fight by I'm gonna go with knockout, but I mean if he gets a decision, I won't be surprised. But Manal Kape against Brandon Royval. Give me Manal Kape by knockout or a decision win. All right, guys, that was my UFC Fight Night Royval versus Manal Kape full breakdown and predictions. This was the last event of the year. We don't have another event for like 6 weeks, which sucks. So I'm not gonna post these breakdown prediction videos for a little bit, but I'm gonna be posting something else. So don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below who you got for this fight night. Are you with Brandon Royval or Manal Kape? But anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out all my other videos.